another episode of the Cut for Time podcast here at the Canton United Methodist Church. My name is Pastor Clay, and I'm just so glad you joined me for today's episode, as I'm also joined by a whole group of my friends as we continue through the Advent season. Like I said on Sunday, it is impossible for us to separate the season from its sounds. And so this week, my friends and I are going to talk about our favorite Christmas songs and why they are our favorites. The songs we're going to talk about hold special meanings that bring us back to growing up, the special people we have sung them with, and the way that they all point us to the birth of Jesus Christ. Without further ado, let's get into it. So this week's question is, do you hear what I hear? What are your favorite Christmas songs, Teresa?
Oh, there are two that I gravitate to all the time and have for years. Oh Holy Night has been a perennial favorite of mine for as long as I can remember. Particularly the later verses. Talking about the slave is our brother, and it's just the justice aspect of it really speaks to my heart. The first verse is lovely and beautiful and powerful, thinking about falling on your knees before our Lord. If we took this song seriously as Christians, we could make a powerful impact in this world.
Oh, yeah. Truly, he taught us to love one another.
Right?
Yeah.
With no caveats on that.
Yeah.
Right? No buts, no if, no only when.
Right. Yeah.
Just love one another.
And
I mean, that's hard, especially when we want to go along with love. But there are times that we have to recognize that our personal preferences, our likes, really don't matter in the big scheme of things.
Right.
And that every person deserves love, and every person deserves to be cherished, and that every person carries the image of the divine.
Yeah. And
so when we disrespect others, when we hate others, when we whatever.
Yeah.
I'm always reminded of Matthew 25, as you did for the least of these, you did for me. As image bearers, however we treat another is how we treat Christ. And so, as easy as it is to call people names on the internet.
Right.
And it's far too easy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think one thing that we're reminded of at this season especially is that when we do that, we are doing so to Christ.
Yeah.
My other favorite hymn is I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day.
Yes.
Now, I love the Casting Crowns version. No disrespect to the Casting Crowns. Sure. But I fell in love with this song years ago with the Harry Belafonte version. Okay. And if you are not familiar, Google it. Go to Spotify. It's on there. Harry Belafonte is a master. But again, maybe it's knowing the story behind that song. It was written during the Civil War. The man who wrote it, his son was on the front lines. The battle is raging. all the countless young men that had died, and he's crying, where is God?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there is no peace on earth, I said. Can you
Mhm.
imagine living in the middle of a war-torn country? Of course there's no peace. Like
Yeah.
you can't realize that. Um, but then that third verse comes, and then pealed the bells more loud and sweet. God
Mm.
is not dead, nor doth he sleep. You know, like that even in the midst of this terror and this horror, that there is hope. It's such a song of Advent, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
such a song. And I hear so many people these days feeling like the world is going to pot and everything's terrible and whatever. And I just want to play this song on repeat over and over and over again. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. Like all will be right. God has promised this over and over in scripture.
Mm.
We just have to hang on.
Right. So, what is your favorite Christmas song and why?
I don't know if I can choose just one.
It's okay. Teresa did too.
Okay. Like Oh Holy Night is such a solid Christmas song. But the one that I like, there's a few that I listen to on repeat that I make sure I get in every season is like Where Are You Christmas
Mm.
from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the live action one, and Faith Hill singing it. Um, because sometimes that's what it feels like, especially as pastors. Like, where are you, Christmas? Like, we keep setting it up for everyone else. How do we feel it too?
Mm.
Christmas Shoes hits me in the feels every year. I do it to myself, but I gotta listen to it. Because again, it's a story of just being surprised by the act of Christmas.
Yeah.
Um, Silly songs that just bring me so much joy are I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas and um, Penguin James Penguin by Brad Paisley. It's, I'm telling you, it is, just go YouTube this, write it down, YouTube this after.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. I'm pretty
it's,
sure I'm going to compile a Spotify list for this episode. So,
yes,
because
that
there's
needs to be
been
included.
Penguin,
James
James
Penguin.
Penguin.
He's Penguin, James Penguin, that dapper little guy. It's basically Santa's secret spy.
Okay.
Because Santa can't do it all.
Fair.
Um, and as a kid, my one of my favorite songs was to sing "What Child Is This" in
Mm.
church because you got to say ass. Right.
That's awesome.
The children's choir director in me loves the Friendly Beast
Mm.
because hearing those kids sing, just makes my heart. Um, yeah. Otherwise, the one my mom, we had a Sandy Patty. Have you ever heard of
Oh, yeah.
fantastic soprano?
Oh, my gosh.
She has a Christmas album that we probably burned out our cassette tapes and had it on vinyl and CD. Like we had it, we'd listen to it every year, and The Gift Goes On. That's a song that makes me think of my mom every Christmas. That just
Mm.
makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
So I get music. Music is a heart language to me. So
Absolutely.
like I kind of want to play a game with the kids next week of I want you to see if you can get write it down a Christmas song that I don't know. Like it's got to be relatively mainstream.
Sure. Yeah.
But I want you like you write them down
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to pull them out. Let's see if I can sing at least a couple lines from it.
Right.
A couple words.
Yep.
Because I might be overconfident in myself, but I think I could. I think I could.
That's awesome. This week we are talking about the different songs and the sounds of the season, and just the idea of do you hear what I hear? And so Eric would love to hear what is your favorite Christmas song or songs plural, because a couple of us have had a hard time picking just one.
I too have a hard time picking just one. As I read this question, I was like, boy, this is going to be a tough one. One that stands out to me is Joseph's Lullaby, which I have been voluntold that I am singing on the 15th by a few different people.
Yep.
So that song's pretty special. I think the first time I sang that song in church, trying to remember, I think the first time I sang that song in church, Avenel was a baby. And so she would have been about 6 months old. I know that winter we did kind of a Mary and Joseph and baby at Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And Avenel was Jesus. But just the idea behind that song, and it's not a traditional song, but the idea behind that song of what Joseph had to be thinking the night that Jesus was born.
Yeah.
Of what was to come in his life, what was to come in Jesus's life, and just how do you be a parent to that, or in that situation?
Yeah.
And how difficult that had to be, because you've got 3 kids, I've got 3 kids. It's hard enough being a parent to normal children,
right? Yeah, yes.
Let alone the Messiah.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's a whole different. I just really enjoy how it puts into perspective the weight that Joseph had to feel. So, that's one of them. That's one of my favorites. One of my what's the more contemporary songs, which is kind of, I don't know if you call it a guilty pleasure. It's kind of weird saying it that way, but Maybe It's Cold Outside is actually one of my favorites. It's kind of funny. Jen and I like to sing that.
Nice.
So,
it's awesome.
Yeah. This time of year, I just love the music all the time. I love hearing Christmas music. I love the songs we sing in church, because there's that group of songs that we only sing during Advent. We just get to enjoy for 4 weeks. And there's so many of them that it's just I don't know, it's just such a great time of year.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of glad these first couple of weeks of Advent are traditional services at the church. I mean, because we do change the flavor pretty significantly between praise band weeks and classic weeks. And so, yeah, we let our Advent flag fly on Sunday. It was all of the Advent hymns, as many as we could fit in, including the Advent candle song from the Faith We Sing, which, it's growing on me. But
how is it growing on you?
Well, it's mainly because the person that advocated for it the hardest the year that I didn't do it was Jack Suter, and I just really miss him. So
sure, that means something.
Yep. So between Jack Suter and Margaret Schultz, I have been sufficiently told that I'm never allowed to not use it. So.
Well, you can't. I mean, if you're not going to listen to those two, who are you going to listen to at that point?
Exactly right.
Well, I love all Christmas songs. I love all Christmas music. I start playing Christmas music as soon as Sirius XM puts the Holly channel on. It's on in my car, and I'll listen to it as long as I possibly can. But when I think about a song that I like that has a reason behind it, I really have to talk about the song. It's actually number 228 in our United Methodist hymnal. It's called "He Is Born," or I don't speak French. Il est né. Il est né. It's a French carol, and it's about He is born, the Holy Child. Play the oboe and bagpipes merrily. And I love the rhythm and just the thought of oboe and bagpipes and this child being born. But the reason that it has a special memory to me is I grew up in a United Methodist Church in Bozeman, Montana. And one year at Christmas Eve, the choir director's sons, she had 3 sons, the choir director's sons surprised her. and sang this song in a trio as their gift to their mom, the choir director. And I just thought, what a true gift that would be to get together with your siblings and to practice this song, and then to arrange it with the pastor so that during the Christmas Eve service, you and your siblings got up so that you could sing this song in your mom's church. Like, to me, that's thoughtfulness, and that is a true gift to give to someone. And so I've just always loved that song because it's a great song. It's not super popular, but also to me, it has that cool story about giving something to someone that you love.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
cool.
It's a great song.
So cool. It is a great song. A couple of years ago, when I was still serving the Burt congregation, the high school band played that hymn tune, and like the band director was just baffled because she'd never heard it before, and I was like, "It's 228 in the hymnal. We sang it last week." But because it's one of my favorites as well. So
awesome.
You're right. It does not have the popularity that it could or should. So.
That it should have, because it's really, and if you do it with an upbeat, it's really a celebration of this baby is born. Bring out your instruments and sing to the Lord. Like it's awesome.
Yep. Very Psalm 150,
for sure.
That every available thing we have to praise God, let us do that because, and then putting it in the Christmas context because Jesus is born. Yeah. That's awesome. Cool.
So the one hymn that I can't do without is What Child Is This? Now there's a story behind it though, right? Like second or third grade, Stephanie got to sing her very first solo in church, but it was verse 2 of What Child Is This? And I am a rule follower to the T. Like, we do not swear, we do not do anything, and I got to say ox and ass in church while singing, and I was very nervous, and so so it's not Christmas if we haven't sung that song, but that's like that memory is tied into it somehow in both a funny way and also like the contemplative way of like the dirtiness that surrounds the Christmas story.
Yeah.
But have you heard Phil Wickham's Angels We Have Heard on High yet?
I don't think I have.
Oh my goodness. I was sitting there listening to it on Alexa this morning, right after my son left for preschool. My other son went down for a nap. And it was just this moment of like, oh my goodness, this is a beautiful song. Like, Alexa, what is this song?
Nice.
And so I highly suggest, he's taken something very traditional and made it very contemporary and beautiful in some way that's just this like contemplative, calm way. So for your listeners, if they haven't heard that one, check it out.
Nice. I think I really am going to make a Spotify playlist of all the songs that are being suggested. And see if I can find a way to share that. Because there have been a couple of repeats, but also just really cool suggestions all day long today. So,
well, and there's also the whole Pentatonics.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Album.
Yep.
We love the whole Pentatonics album at our house. So.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Awesome.
Also, Andrew would be remiss if I did not mention Jason Kelce. Oh, what is this band called? The Philly something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, Jason Kelce there's 3 former Philadelphia Eagle players that now are putting out their 3rd Christmas album, and they're actually really good.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Highly recommend those.
The Philly Specials.
The Philly Specials, yes.
Yes. Yep. Way cool. Way cool. What great answers to a really tough question. trying to pick just one or two favorites for the entire season of Christmas and Advent is such a hard task. Even I have a hard time picking just one. But there is one song that I do gravitate to for a lot of reasons, and it's called Of the Father's Love Begotten. It is definitely an Advent hymn that we do not sing very often. In the life of the congregation, it's not a hard song to sing, it's just one that we don't sing very often. I was first introduced to the song as a high schooler during All-State Choir because it was a part of a larger song called Hope for Resolution, which was just kind of about liberation and hope that is found in Jesus Christ. And I was super struck by it and found it in our hymnal, and just I fell in love with it. The words and the melody just mean so much to me because it moves so much. And then I got to seminary, and I was taking an educational ministries class from Dr. Ted Fazer, and Dr. Fazer is very famous in the Sioux Falls seminary community for being the leader of the Messiah choir that sang 35 years. I mean, just a long standing tradition of the seminary. He had his educational ministries course sing that song on the steps of the seminary on the first day of Advent that we had classes. So it would have been after the first Sunday of Advent, that next Monday morning. We all rolled into class at like 8 o'clock in the morning, getting ready for class. And Dr. Fazer's like, okay, before we get into what we're going to do today, I want us to go stand on the staircase. And what you need to know about the seminary building that I was a part of at Sioux Falls Seminary is that it has a very large atrium area. So the first floor is very open, and then the second floor is actually very open too. And then the classrooms kind of go around this big center atrium. And so it's very, acoustically, it's a very hot room. So it was going to echo and sound. And so we stood on the steps, and not a lot of us were familiar with it, but I sure was. And I couldn't believe I had the opportunity to sing that song again. And we took full advantage that day. And we sang lustily and with good courage, to quote John Wesley's rules for singing. The words to it just make clear that God is doing something super profound and super important, and something that is worth us paying attention to. And then when you couple it with a melody that I've never heard outside of that song, there are just some Christmas songs that stand out, and that's one of them to me, is Of the Father's Love Begotten. But thanks for joining me on this week's episode of the Cut for Time podcast. If you're enjoying these conversations, just please know that we are too. We had so much fun getting together and recording these and releasing them throughout Advent, and just hope that you're able to share them with your friends. You'll use your social media to get these videos out as far as they can, and also the audio as well. But just hope you're enjoying the conversations as much as we enjoyed recording them. We will see you in worship on Sunday at 10 o'clock here at the Canton United Methodist Church. We'll also have a live stream on Facebook Live or a replay throughout the week on YouTube and on our local TV channel. But thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to our Cut for Time conversation. Join us for worship in person or on Facebook Live Sundays at 10 o'clock Central Time. And now go in peace and serve the Lord.